Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Let's go Texas. Okay, I don't know what it is, but they must have some good cocktails. I'm feeling all loopy over here. We're on the edge, and we have Denise Ackerman. She's going to be here and talk to us about motivating and inspiring and coaching, and what is her turnkey approach to success, Brains. She's worked for Keller Williams. She was a trainer. You know, I used to be a corporate trainer too. So there's a certain mindset. There's a certain type of delivery, you know, because you got to be able to be able to coach textile learners or visual or audible. So, you know, what is her secret sauce? Welcome her to the edge, Brains, Denise Ackerman. Hey, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. Thanks, April. And I love teaching people about Frisco, Texas.
That's right, Frisco. I might get that tattooed somewhere. Frisco, Cisco. Yeah, I got it.
One of the fastest growing cities of its size in the United States. So,
Okay, so in relationship to like Austin, you know, I was thinking about moving to Texas once upon a time. Now they say Austin is happening too. What's the difference?
so Austin is happening. And I'm my Frisco friends will not like this, but I love Austin. I don't think there's a Texan out there that doesn't love Austin. It is the place to go if you like um, well, let's say music is one thing.
Oh
You
yeah.
love beautiful scenery, hills, um, and Dallas, which is really where I'm from. I'm from the
Right.
Dallas-Fort Worth area. Dallas is much more metropolitan, and Frisco is just another part of that. We are 30 miles north. Jerry Jones of the Cowboys just built a brand new practice facility here. It's gorgeous with restaurants, the whole bit. So, and yes, in Texas, we are going to restaurants, but we are social distancing. We're being very careful. So,
Okay, because you know, folks get crunchy about trying to save their life. I don't get it, but you know, and you know who you're dealing with, and if people
mhm,
want to, you know, you can't live in a bubble either.
mm-mm,
Really cannot live in a bubble. So
yeah.
talking about bubbles, you have such an elevated sense of awareness when it comes to training. When I kind of look at it, you really motivate people. You teach them how to cross promote themselves. You make sure that they make the ask. All that's very important in training. Wouldn't you agree?
It definitely is with my background, 37 years in real estate, and I started as a salesperson. I came from social work, thought I was going to help people that way, and after 7 years, it was what I did. Working with children was too tough, so I decided that I wanted something a little more upbeat. And I got into real estate and loved it, absolutely loved it. And as my family grew, I made the decision, actually had an opportunity. One of my mentors asked me to lead one of her offices. So that's what I did. It was my entree into leadership and business development after that. So I did business development for some companies. I did recruiting, training, and the last 10 years of my career in real estate, I worked specifically as a real estate coach.
Wow.
So,
So, you know, you've brushed it with the broad stroke. You're Miss HR right there.
except we didn't have HR in real estate. We were, we're all independent contractors. So,
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the structure of a realtor. You know, real estate, I took the test
mhm.
here in California. I missed it by 2 points, and I never went back and took it again. Now, you know, I'm a master salesperson. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. Okay, I know how to close a deal, but real estate is different. Real
Mm,
estate is a very intimate buy.
very intimate,
You know,
unless you're in commercial. If you're in residential, it's very much about the people. It's all relationships.
well,
And
Even with
That's
commercial, they want feng shui. They want the light to hit a certain kind of way, a certain kind of energy. But you have to get into the psyche of people. And so what is like, what's the experience of a real estate person, like a brand new person, and they're getting a lot of no's, they're not closing a deal, they're not getting a lot of listings. How could you encourage them?
Well, sometimes it depended on the person. It really depends on the person. Sometimes it's helping them understand that real estate is just a people business. And it's not that they're telling them no, it's that they are just not in the place of making that decision at that time. And people tend to take, new realtors tend to take it personally. And I remember when I was in training way, way, way back, um, I was taught that you just keep making the calls and every no is getting you closer to a yes. Anybody who's ever been in sales has heard that. So it's depersonalizing it while still being personal. And then there are others that I knew that they loved the accountability and I could be tougher with them. So, but April, I spent a lot of time with realtors and I love my real estate friends. As you saw, one of my clients that I worked with this morning, we were doing a live.
Mm-hmm.
So I still coach realtors. Um, and I made the decision while I was a real estate agent that I'd wanted to be a coach for a long time. I'd heard about coaching in 1999 and getting a social work degree. I already had this deep compassion for people. And I went through some of my own life stuff, bursting the bubble. You mentioned a bubble a while ago, and I thought, wow, boy, did I ever have my bubble popped. I went through midlife,
Mm,
and
no.
a lot of people experience change. They disconnect from the old life, whether it's through divorce or death or children leaving home, a job changes, they get tired of their career. And something happens to us when we go through midlife, not only physically, we certainly get that.
Right,
We go through a spiritual and mental change.
right.
And
It's it's a rite of passage.
it really is. It's like, I read the other day that it's like becoming a teenager again. Those hormones are raging and you're thinking, what the heck? What's
Right.
wrong with me? So I went through my own midlife and I realized that as much as I loved leading real estate agents, as much as I loved um, that that leadership part, which I'm really good at. I'm the oldest of five, so I learned young.
Oh,
And I just decided that there had to be another way. And someone introduced me to coaching. And I went, oh my goodness, this is what I'm going to do. So I started coaching in real estate because that's what I knew. And then I went on and I am certified 3 times. There's a lot of coaches out there that I tell people to beware of um, real estate agents who are part-time and don't give you their full attention, and beware of coaches who are not trained. Um,
I call them the coaches that are still trainees.
they're still trainees, but they don't tell people that.
Well,
And
they don't, and they take people's money. And what you have, there's no turnkey approach to success. Some things that I would suggest when you're looking for a coach, you want some testimonials.
Mhm.
You want some sort of blueprint plan. I don't want just a verbal. I want to know what we're going to do. Like me, I coach clients, but I only have 5 sessions, 5 hours. That's it. And there's accountability and there's homework. That way it's a turnkey approach, but systematically, I know what steps I'm going to take. You're going to have to tweak them for each individual. I get that. But
Mhm.
for the most part, you have to have some sort of structure. You got to be able to introduce the product or subject, whatever it is, and then recap. You know, it's a lot to training. It's all
It
about
is
the psyche, but it's connecting with people, and it's a very heart-centered job. So I can see that
very heart-centered.
you're the perfect person for that. So you have a massive Facebook group. Let me make sure that I get the name correct. I wrote down. I got so excited with
with the
And
Frisco.
Frisco. This is the Savvy Ageless Goddesses. What is that all about, Denise?
So savvy, whoops, I hope my internet's working. I just got a notice. It's savvy, so smart. Ageless, that means age is not a factor. And we women love to be goddesses, right?
Right?
We want to be put on a pedestal. Well, I'm just kidding about that. But it just sounds good.
No, you know, no, there's no reason that we should not be put on a pedestal.
Yeah,
You know, we are the givers of life.
we are.
queens.
And the nurturers, the queens.
That's right. That's right. Mother Nature. Everything nourishing is us. So claim it.
Exactly. So all kidding aside, I went through my midlife crisis. I decided I wanted to be a coach, and I hired a coach, imagine that, to help me figure out who I was going to be and how I was going to market myself. And she said, what are some words that you resonate with? Well, one of my favorite words is sage. And not just the spice or the herb or the plant, which are beautiful. It's the wisdom. And the sages of old were the wise elders. And a lot of the reading and studying, I've studied midlife, I've studied aging, not aging from a sense of getting old. I've studied wisdom, how we become wise. And I've got a picture right there behind me. My mother painted that little picture of that woman. That's my grandmother. She was my greatest teacher. And then my mother became that as she aged. And I learned that life is the best teacher. So when I started thinking about what did I want to stand for, sage wisdom was really the personification of who I am. I'm a little bit older than a lot of people, and
well, you got a hell of a moisturizer because you can't tell it.
I won't tell, but that's a girl's prerogative, right?
That's right.
So my coach at the time, Kim, and I sat down, and she said, okay, so let's come up with an acronym. So I played with all kinds of words, and I came up with savvy for the S.
Right.
Ageless for the A. That was a given, because my whole thing is to kick old to the curb. When I turned 60 years old, I thought to myself, I don't feel any different than I did at 30. I feel this up here is still the same. Right. And I'm not going to buy into that old stuff, because gosh knows as we get older, start getting AARP and
oh gosh, I know.
I mean,
I had a moment when I opened it and I was like, oh, I have arrived.
Oh my gosh, my favorite are those dinner invitations that are at expensive restaurants.
But you know, age is a matter of mind. You know, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Now, that's not for you to, you know, dress inappropriately. And if you can, I'm not hating on that either. But it's to be wise and to know yourself, know what you want out of life, know what your expectations are, set some boundaries.
Well, and it's more than that. It's a choice to keep thinking forward instead of stopping. And so many people reach a certain age and they start buying into those things that we get sent. They start buying into those prescription ads. Or all they do is they go to the doctor and they collect prescriptions. And I'm of the mindset that we think, how can I stay healthy? What can I do to stay healthy? What can I do to take care of myself? How can I grow? Because when you're growing, you're expanding.
Right.
When you stop growing, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole acronym is Savvy Ageless Goddess Extraordinaire.
Oh, wow.
But that was too hard to spell, so I just did Savvy Ageless Goddesses.
That is wonderful. And the philosophy behind it, you put a lot of thought into that. What's your ideal client? Because everybody's not your client. See, that's another thing, brains. You need to edit and filter. You need to, again, go through a checklist. You don't have to be, you don't want a person to be a carbon copy of who you are, but you want to know that they have some flexibility, that they are open to constructive feedback and sometimes harsh criticism.
Mhm.
That's what you need a coach for, for someone to make corrective action, that kind of navigates you, not boss you around, but
No,
or
not at all.
sometimes maybe boss you around when they see that you're not making a good decision. You've made an investment, a financial investment, but more so a spiritual investment, because now that's what people are looking for. They want that emotional capital and relationships. The dollar
Absolutely.
bill is shrinking. Now it's back to humanity, and trying to be kind to one another. Have an open heart, have an open mind, and be flexible. What's your ideal client?
So it's interesting you asked me that because just this morning, I like to watch podcasts
Yay!
and TED Talks and those kind of things when I'm getting dressed in the morning. And I happened to put one on from one of my favorite online coaches. Now, this person is younger than me. It's a woman, and I'm not going to say her name, and hopefully you won't guess, because she had a very raw moment recently online, and the raw moment was that she had a birthday. And where I'm going with that, April, is that she had a pivotal birthday. Well, really not one of the old birthdays, but it was early 50s. And because of this crazy year we've had, her business had fallen way below what it was. She had lost a lot of her business. And that's what happens at midlife is things change. And she was in tears and she said, "What's happened to my life?" Now, we don't have to be famous people. We don't have to be famous coaches or famous real estate agents or podcast hosts or whatever
Right, right.
for to experience that time in life, just like the world's experiencing right now, where we go through a shift. And so, my ideal client in particular is women. I've coached several men who've also experienced this, but people who are at that pivotal place. For some, it could be as early as their late 30s. Got several clients 40s and then into the 50s where something is happening and they feel disconnected from the life that they had before.
Mm.
Meaning has gone.
Well, but you know what? That's brushing it with a real broad stroke, because now in this age of COVID, that's each and every one of us,
Well, that's the truth.
And so what has all this taught you about you? All this COVID and,
Mhm.
this, pumping of the brakes and just social discord. What does that magnify in you?
Well, April, to get personal on this, I lost my mom in May, not to COVID. My mom was 88 when she passed. And what it taught me, I was very blessed because of the wisdom and the all the work I've done, and very spiritual, I might add. Um, I knew that when I heard that she was going into those last stages, she was in the hospital. She had felt very disconnected. Speaking of disconnected, wondering where we'd gone, and so I brought her to my house, and she was delivered in a hospital bed. She was in hospice,
Oh, wow.
and what I learned from that was how precious life is,
Yeah.
how precious family is. We gathered all around my mom. We sang hymns to my mom. My dad was able to say goodbye. My parents were married for 70 years. So you can
Wow.
imagine how hard it was on him.
Mm.
And I've learned that the people in our lives are not to be taken for granted. They are to be cherished. And what it led us to do was teach my dad how to Zoom. He's 80, almost 89 years old.
Wow.
He gets confused on the computer, but he knows how to Zoom
You know,
every Sunday. And so we have the most adorable family conversations where we share pictures, and
Wow.
my dad counts all 5 of his children.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, that's what it's taught me. It's also taught me that it's okay to pause. That sometimes in life we get going too fast,
Right.
and things will always change. Life is all about change.
Right.
So sometimes we have to sit back and go, what is this?
Exactly.
Where's my life? What do I need to look at here?
Exactly.
And
And re-examine that and go back, brains, because you're not going to be the same person. People do change,
mhm,
you know.
exactly. Oh yes, we
As you
do.
grow, you get better.
Mhm,
Sometimes things go for the worse, but there's a learning in there regardless.
mhm,
And we have to be aware of that. What it's taught me is really to have a heightened sense of hearing and receiving information,
mhm,
to really kind of be a more active listener,
mhm,
because there's different point of views and different perspectives, and we can agree or disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable.
mm-mm,
But
mm-mm,
again, it's really done that for me, and it's also made me appreciate and value mankind even more.
mhm.
Because I see our struggles. It's not like the animal kingdom. You're bottom of the food chain. This is just really things that we can have control over. You are just the best conversationalist on the planet.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything that you'd like to share with my brains before we conclude our interview today? Some words of wisdom or encouragement?
Yeah, I would. Thank you, April. We're getting ready to go into a very contentious election, and I don't ever talk politics. That's not my thing. All I want to say is have compassion. We have been in a year where compassion has been continually called for. And so be grateful for what you have in your life. Be grateful for the people in your life, and have compassion for all mankind, because we're all experiencing this right now. Um, give smiles more often when you can. I know we're wearing masks, but
I know.
and give those fist bumps, um, and just be kinder. Um, leave kind messages on social media, not the hateful ones.
Right,
Which
right. Well, I call it keyboard courage.
yeah,
Because they
absolutely.
wouldn't dare say it to your face. They get the old 1-2 knuckle job.
That's right. And there's one more thing I want to add, if I can, April, and that is on October 28th, I am launching a very, very special women's group. And if any of your listeners want to hear this, I can send you the link. Um, and
Gotta call them brains. They don't connect unless you call them brains. So any
oh, these brains. Okay, well they've all got brains, good brains. So please connect. And if you are feeling disconnected, if you're a woman feeling that disconnection right now and wanting to reclaim your life, that's what it's called, and connect with a bunch of cool women, small group, then I have a place for you.
she's made a place for you, brains, and everybody will let you in their
Absolutely.
space, whether it's virtual or not. You just don't let anybody up in the room. But I'm so glad that you were here with us.
Thank
Uh,
you.
you just it's just great to know that there's people out there that just that care and want compassion and
Mhm.
want to teach. It's a different kind of skill set to be a teacher, and that's exactly what you've done. All the way from Frisco, Texas.
Frisco. Good job.
Ding, 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 ding. So thank you, and welcome, and come back on the edge, brains. I need you to subscribe, baby. Okay, those numbers are going through the roof. And also share this interview and other interviews, because the Edgy Awards are coming up. And with the Edgy Awards, they are the hottest podcast awards on the planet. And I created them just for you. So we want you to get these interviews in. We want you to rotate them, share with friends. And if you're interested in being on the edge, you know what to do. Inbox me. We'll have that conversation. Remember that conversation me and you had, Denise?
Yes, we did. We sure did.
See if we connect. All right. Thank you so much again, Precious, for being with us.
Thank you, April. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hold on. You didn't give your information, how to get in contact with you.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Hold on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Denise, I need for my brains to definitely be able to connect with you if they are there, if they're virtual. You know, we already know where the Savvy Ageless Goddesses are, but where are you?
So they can find me at deniseackerman.com. Very easy, deniseackerman.com. And I actually will do a complimentary discovery session for someone who is really interested in coaching or connecting with me for that class. So they can sign up there, and or they can find me on Savvy Ageless Goddesses in the group on Facebook.
All right, brains, be sure to check her out.